dream of suffocation got me waking up, suffocating to the making no mistake, and it's a message. I've analyzed all my sins, and I contemplate that there's no redemption. Hyperbolic, pathological, the brothers think of logic of the breath. We're going to my mind, it only gets talkable, sinister. When it's love, they got to fight me for fight long enough to give you a crack at it, enjoy it. Everybody feels the hell, this must be it. So here's my hot take from a double snake experiment. Let them all bleed out, let them all bleed out. Hey, let them all bleed out, yeah. Let them all bleed out. I know, somewhere in my shadow, something has been calling me. As I go deeper in the shadow, something that won't let me breathe. Yeah. So let them all bleed out, let them all bleed out. Let them all bleed out. So the way you look, the soul inside you was cooked. You run up doors that never open and open and shut book. A splitter in the center of your mind, a woman drifting out the fire, but there you go. Chasing the back and you face me into the lane, finding you. Reflection reminding you that it only takes a second for your fucking whole life is through. Sit with it over a minute, see this let it sink in. I'll see you in hell, bitch. Remember to bring a friend. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, motherfucker. You gon' feel my pain and seize my rage. Let them all bleed out. Let them all bleed out. Let them all bleed out, yeah. Let them all bleed out. Hey, let them all bleed out. Let them all bleed out. Yeah, let them all bleed out, yeah. Let the motherfucker bleed. I know, somewhere in my shadow, something has been calling me. Yeah, as I go deeper in the shadow, something that won't let me breathe. Yeah, and I know, somewhere in my shadow, something been calling me.
Thank you for tuning in. This is my friend TrainWreck.
What's up?
TrainWreck, tell the people where you from.
I am actually from a little known suburb of Miami called Hialeah. That's the hood.
What kind of stuff do you do out there like for fun?
Hialeah?
Yeah.
Mainly get fucked up, pump the bass real loud. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people in where I grew up, the big thing really was going to clubs and shit, so it really wasn't my deal. So when I was coming up in that area, I always kind of sought out like underground spots to find, like, you know, venues where bands would play and stuff versus just like places where people go shake their ass and shit. It's not really my deal.
I was born in Southern California, but moved up to like this little like nowhere town in Northern California. So anytime I wanted to party or do anything, it was less of like even a house party and more of like a bonfire in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I picture it.
Right, cops come to shut it down. You just pile up in the car and find a McDonald's. But okay, so I gotta ask, like, what is one of your like earliest, most like pivotal memories when it comes to music, where you're like, oh shit, like this stuff is more than just background noise for me personally?
Well, from a very early age, like I was always good at like internalizing sounds and kind of mimicking them, and so I was always drawn to music. For, you know, probably I think 4 is when I started singing, so I was a little kid. But honestly, like what changed music for me and made me want to perform music really, believe it or not, is Elvis.
I would not have fucking guessed.
Yeah. Because I was raised in a cult that's called Jehovah's Witnesses.
No shit. You were Jehovah's Witness? Ooh, I heard lots of tea about that.
Oh, yeah. They're like the Scientologists of Christianity. And so I wasn't allowed to listen to modern music growing up, so I was only able to listen to like oldies, like super old. And Elvis was one part of that, right? Which is ironic because like Elvis was like the rebel music in his time.
You're right. It's kind of funny how that shit happens, right?
Well, because it's just like, you know, people get desensitized over time, and like what was extreme 10 years ago ain't shit by today's standards, right? And it just keeps people keep moving the bar. But yeah, no, I was in middle school, and it was a talent show. So the first time I experienced really like performing on stage, I was lip syncing to an Elvis song. It's a song called Hard Headed Woman. That was the first time that in my life to that point that I ever felt like a connection with the other kids, you know? It's like I went up there and I wasn't even doing my own stuff. I was, you know, a little kid lip syncing, but just like the reaction. That's the first time that I ever felt attractive to little girls, you know? It was different, it was a very different experience, but I immediately knew that was my home, you know? And so like the next year, I came and I did the same thing, but this time I actually sang. And that was like the final nail in the coffin, which like cemented for me that being a performer of music on the stage, you know, like from that point forward, I was chasing that dragon, you know. I was like, man, I need to figure out how to make my own music, you know, and that was the impetus of it.
Yeah, I know. You said that you're pretty well educated when it comes to music, as far as your studies and stuff. And you got the tattoo, right?
The circle fits.
Yeah, circle fits. So I know that you play guitar. Is that was that your first instrument you ever picked up?
Actually, drums. Drums were the first instrument. I was always fascinated with rhythm, and there's something really visceral about like the pulse and the pounding of drums. And so when I was my first band, I would during rehearsal I would sing, but standing behind my drummer so I could watch what he was doing while I'm singing. And I was just fascinated with that instrument, right? And so he would let me like noodle around on his kit during breaks and shit. And I took the drums pretty naturally. I'm not like a great drummer, but that was why I was always like, for me, if I was in a band, like, dude, if I could play drums better than you can't be my drummer. You gotta crush me, you know what I mean? You gotta be fucking amazing. I'm not like an amazing drummer at all. My sense of rhythm, and I think it's what's helped with this music I'm making now, it was already there. And then what happened was I'm like, well, man, I can't serenade no bitches behind a goddamn drum set. You know what I mean? So I had to learn them all like instrument.
Wait, but what about Phil Collins, bro? Like,
well, even he fucking moved to keyboards and shit. He got from behind the kit, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All for the bros.
Yeah. Well, I you know, when I was a little kid, I was early on I was very much a hopeless romantic. I thought, I don't know. I used to think kind of like a girl or something like my shit was very much like a fairy tale, I think. You know, I won't get into that, but it was weird.
A lot of my close friends and stuff, I think a lot of how they find themselves, like, because, like, say they have, like, an interest in music, but the thing that pushed them to get the discipline and to fight was, maybe if I figure this out, I can feel loved, you know, like that. And, you know, that might start with, like, you know, maybe a romantic relationship someone's chasing, and then eventually that turns into, like, community support or family support or whatever. But I feel like a lot of performers, that's the goal, is we want to feel understood, we want to feel connected and appreciated for us, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, and to be fair, you know, I've been making music the majority of my life, so it's like, I would say some of my best material, regardless of genre, in one way, shape, or form has been affected by a woman in my life, right? Be it my mother or like, you know, a romantic relationship, right? And it's weird because like the scars I wear internally because of all that shit is really, it fuels a lot of the lyrical content, right? And it's unironically kind of what led me here to what I'm doing now too, right? Because it was all like kind of inspired by a girl who I was seeing, yeah, like she was kind of like my muse. And I was just getting my brain back together after, you know, I was getting off of booze and shit. And, it's crazy, like, it had been years of just drinking so hard that like, my creative flow was gone. And when I got sober, you know, I met this girl and she like turned me on to all this really, really great underground music that changed my life. But in essence, you know, like one of the first motivations was like, wow, you know, once I found out that these artists are producing their own shit, I was like, wow, how much would it impress her? And yeah, I mean, needless to say that girl that I didn't pan out, she had a boyfriend the whole time, so that was pretty awesome.
Scandalous.
Yeah, ladies, don't do that. Gentlemen, don't do that either, man. If you feel like you need to cheat, be fucking single, dude. Don't be doing people dirty like that. Karma's a real thing, motherfuckers.
And also, it's like your dream person should never be someone else's person. You know,
Hell no.
It just doesn't work. But no, it makes sense though, because I feel like I feel like your music's so vulnerable, and there's a lot of pain within it. And I figured the people that make you feel the most loved are also the ones that inflict the most severe wounds. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think that's pretty on the nose. I mean, like, well, you know, if you really look at it, like I think from my experience, my collective experiences, a lot of it, especially from childhood, right, coming up in that cult religion that makes you feel better. Especially when I was breaking away from that, I always felt kind of different on the outside, but I was always searching for validation. So I was seeking out things outside of myself to make me feel fulfilled, right? Music was really the only thing that came from within, that I knew was coming from a higher place beyond me, that made me truly feel fulfilled. And I think I just had to learn to be grateful for that and stop chasing this dragon of validation, you know? And that really has kind of carried me. I think, you know, to your point about there being pain and vulnerability in my music, you know, I appreciate you noticing that. I mean, it's really been over the last year or so too that I've really been stripping away a lot of the more sort of like chest beating bullshit and getting to the core of who I truly am lyrically. Yeah, this project it's been a great vehicle for being, you know, my true self in ways that I didn't, you know, imagine. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the whole like chest beating thing. Like, I feel like for me, I've been like kind of shit on most of my life when it comes to music. Like all the American Idols, like everyone thinks like if you're a critic that it makes you more musically inclined some fucking hell. So all the people that I would look to for support were really, in hindsight, just people that didn't understand music, were not musically inclined, and felt threatened by a topic that they didn't understand.
Right.
So they'd want to tear that down, but that need to prove something, I think, has been my biggest battle that I've been getting over, because now I'm getting to a point where I'm kind of where I want to be, I guess, musically, and like connections, like everything, communities, everything for me, but getting to the core, peeling back some of the onion layers, I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm actually kind of like a broken person, and I'm a super spiritual cat. Like I went to church today, like I stay prayed up. I also have shit tons of religious trauma. I come from more of the Catholic background with like hardcore judgmental, like impending doom, guilt. If you're not guilty, then, you know, be more guilty because you're probably fucking up somewhere, kind of thing. Where I feel like music's kind of where I talk to God, and I don't think a lot of people get that though, because I do have a lot of dark imagery or a lot of like spite towards God. But I feel like if you have a problem with someone, and you love and respect them, you bring it to them. You don't bring it to someone behind their back, you know? So I definitely, I feel that pretty deep. I know you said your first band. How many bands have you been in?
Three. It was mainly three. Yeah,
Is it same genre or different genres?
Well, yeah. So the very first band I was in, that was really what inspired me to start playing instruments, right? Because to the point when I first got into a band, all I knew how to do was sing. I couldn't play anything, and I would constantly be hearing from my guitar player and the other guys in the band too, like, oh, you're not a musician, bro, you're just a singer. You're not a musician, bro, you're just a singer. And that shit pissed me the fuck off. I'm like, bro, fuck you guys, dude. Fuck you. Because I have a very vindictive side. and there's a part of me that's, if you tell me I can't do some shit, that's exactly what the fuck I'm going to do.
Double jeopardy.
Yeah. It's just like it's in my nature. And so that really drove me. And what ended up happening was a very something like stupid movie, real cheesy, like classic fucking band breakup. The whole reason I learned to play guitar was because the guitar player in that band, who, shout out to Omar, bro. I'm sure you're a much better person now than you were when we were kids, but he was a dick. And really full of himself. But he was a principal songwriter of the band, so like whatever band he was listening to would be what the song sounded like that he wrote. You know what I'm saying? So, You know what I'm saying? So we had all these different songs, and each song sounded like another band. We didn't sound like oh shit. But like he left his guitar at my place, and we got into a fight, and we broke up, and it almost came to blows and shit. That whole bullshit. But I had his guitar at my place, and I told him, listen, the guitar's in my place. If you want it, you come get it, bitch. And he never came and got his guitar, so I'm like, I'm going to learn how to play that. And so, yeah, like the summer of being 16, I played probably 9 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tough. Your fucking hands must have been fried the first couple months.
I just didn't give a fuck. I'm a very obsessive person. When I get into some shit, like, I go balls deep into it. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. And at the time, 16, I didn't have like the kind of real world worries, as I do today, right? So like, and I was living with my grandparents for that summer. So like, that was the first month of the summer. I specifically didn't work, and I just would stay, at my grandparents' place and just practice guitar from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like there. And I had this book that was called Mel Bay's How to Play Guitar.
You learned from a book?
I learned from a book.
How the fuck?
Yeah.
I struggle to even pick up a good, because I want to learn really bad. I'm not disciplined, very distractible. But like, even with the apps, the videos, and people in my life willing to sit me down and show me, how the fuck do you learn from a book?
I was just hungry.
That's crazy to me.
I just wanted it, and I pictured. It's the thing, like throughout the entire course of my musical journey, each stage of it, that's like I visualize it first, right? And I really try to imagine myself doing the thing. So, first it was with the drums, right? And then I'm like, oh, okay, if I could learn how to kind of fuck around on the drums, I'm sure if I applied myself to an instrument, and it was just easier to apply myself to a guitar because, it's not the same. Like, I had no place to store drums, nor is that an easy instrument to just practice. You can't just fucking practice drums.
Don't piss off grandma real quick.
Yeah. But an acoustic guitar, I mean, I could sit there and, in the first early stages, you're just like staring at your fucking fingers. This is crazy. But the beautiful thing is because of all those like 10,000 hours of practice, with any of those like stages of music, like, I find anytime I put that much time into what I'm focusing on sonically, like it always takes me to the next stage where I don't think about playing. So now I pick up a guitar and look at my hands, you know what I mean? Like my hands just feel like they feel their way, because I've done it so many fucking times. It's like a part of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you said that you were doing punk music for a hot minute there too, and so you got a little bit of traction with that band. What did that look like?
Yeah, so our music was really cool. It was like a fusion of punk and hardcore with like metal and progressive elements of like funk and all kinds of weird shit. Like shout out Karthik Suresh. I truly think this motherfucker. I was about to say it to you, bro. Like, if you watch this, I still in my heart of hearts think you're probably one of the best, if not the best, bass player on the planet. I'm not even being hyperbolic. No cap, bro. This dude is so. He was one of the most innovative, crazy talented musicians, but like the way he played bass was just crazy. And then the drummer, you know, I never gave. I'm so sorry, bro. I never gave him his just desserts, but he was an extremely talented guy as well. What was cool was that there was just three of us, right? But as a three-piece band, like, we made so much sound. So like, you know, the drummer would sing harmony with me, and then I also taught them how to like do the kind of more, you know, nasty screams, so we could do like gang screaming and shit like that on stage. Yeah, we were very, and I was an absolute practice Nazi. So like, we would practice like 4 or 5 nights a week, 4 hour, 6 hour, you know, sessions. It was like a job, you know, in terms of our dedication. And yeah, like, what we had was something very rare, very special, and something that I absolutely fucked up due to my alcoholism and my selfishness. You know, and I'm not gonna give myself a pass. It's like, oh, because I've been drinking, bro. You know, I think the alcohol and all that shit really just revealed other layers, you know, of just dark shit within my shadow that kind of like was fueling that cycle of self-abuse, right? So, and that's, it was crazy because we worked so hard as a band, so hard, and we got a record deal, and, you know, and out in LA, which is a really fucking tough place.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really tough. Like, we did shit that was almost unprecedented for most, like, nobody bands. And, you know, as most addicts will tell you, sometimes, like, it doesn't matter what's within your grasp and how much you worked towards it. When you're in the active throes of addiction like that, you will fuck everything up in your life.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Addiction's fucking gnarly. I think some of my hardest times with my own addiction and, like, substance use is, fuck, I mean, it sucks. It's same. It's like, I can't really, like, be like, oh, it's okay because I was troubled or whatever, and I just didn't know how to deal with it at the time. But, like, anytime I'd, like, disappoint or hurt people, I always thought the people that were around me, challenging me, were the enemy.
Yeah.
But over time and, like, through recovery and shit like that, and, like, looking back, it's like, fuck, like, all those people kept showing up because they cared.
Right.
And, it almost, like, I would, like, stir up a fight so I could justify running off and, like, going and getting fucked up and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It sucks, man, but I will say, though that is something that you went through and it was brutal and everything, what you're onto now, your music and the people that you're reaching and everything that you've been inspiring in the community, just from what I've seen, and, like, mind you, I see you at an open mic, once, twice a week? This dude hits every fucking open mic possible, some twice in a night. How many open mics would you say you hit in town per week?
I mean, Mondays is usually like my double up day. Shout out Andrea at Friskies. So yeah, like, I'll usually go to Vultures and, you know, I'll see y'all there, and like, I'll do a couple songs there, and then just like dart across to Friskies. And a lot of it is because, like, to me, I feel like I don't have like a rehearsal space and shit like that, right? So performing as much as possible and being able to, you know, connect with people, and also just like to have the visceral experience of touching the mic and doing my thing. Like, I try to do that as often as possible. So, like, Thursday nights I also usually hit Bar K here in Colorado Springs, but on, you know, the rare occasion I'll get to go up to Denver with the homies. Fucking home team. Beats Bodega is run by this guy, Face to Feet, I think. Yeah, you met Face to Feet, I think at the
Was that the
What's Left
showcase?
Records. Yeah.
What's Left is fucking badass. You
Yeah.
put me onto there, because I've been in there to buy records a couple times. Never got to see the stage in motion until you guys went up, and it's dope. So, okay, since we're getting into it, I love the hip hop community.
Yeah.
I am around so many fucking guitar girls that want to sit and, you know, it's like, yeah, you can sing good, yeah, you can hit every note on the guitar, I get it, it's impressive, but like cardboard personality, competitive as fuck. When I go to hip hop shows or like perform with other hip hop artists, there is such a level of support, because I feel like hip hop is, especially in the open mic scene, like we're kind of the odd ducks, right? Because everyone wants to see an instrument, right? But like when obviously you're making your own beats and stuff, and like when you go up and perform, it's like so many of like the small-minded people don't get it, but those who fuck with it so much harder than like any other community. I think like it's so tight. So with that being said, what kind of converted you to get into hip hop initially?
Okay, so kind of circles back to that girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this bitch on blast. I don't give a fuck. Sup, Victoria?
Oh!
Sup, Victoria? Yeah.
No.
Sup? Yeah, tell your man. I say, hey yo, how my dick tastes, fool.
Tea.
Fuck you. Love you, bitch. Anyway, so. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You know.
Don't be sorry, you're so real for that.
That shit hit a nerve. Funny too, because I seen her recently. It was the first time I seen her in a year and a half.
Okay.
So yeah, no, what happened was like, I basically, this is gonna get a little dark.
It's okay. That's part of the game, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't go there, like people don't get to see the reality of what you're doing here. You know.
No, big fact. Now I came to Colorado to slowly kill myself with alcohol, and that was my plan when I came out here, and so I was succeeding. First couple of years here, like, cause I moved here in 2020, tail end of like all the COVID close downs and all that shit, and yeah, I mean, COVID really ramped up my alcoholism because I had nothing but time, and I was up in Seattle when that shit happened, so like, you know, prior to even moving here, I was already working on my plan, because like during the course of that was when my alcoholism had destroyed my band, right?
Yeah.
So I was like being in my pity party, oh, what was me, not taking responsibility for anything that I fucking did. Of course not. So through the course of that, you know, like I almost drank myself to death. My mom kind of was the one who staged the intervention. Shout out Mom. And she's why I got like this tattoo behind my ear.
Yeah, that's the new piece on.
Yeah. And it has my mom's name, and it's on a dagger. Let's see it. It's got my mom's name and my sobriety date. And yeah, like, so in the course of my mom staging that intervention, I went into recovery. I started going to AA and shit, and that's where I met this chick. And I kind of got it for her bad, like, pretty immediately. I just think I was just, you know, I was in a fragile state, and someone was paying attention to me and made me feel like a certain kind of way, you know. And so what started it off was that I wrote a poem for her, right? And now this is also in juxtaposition with the fact that just a little bit before meeting her and getting sober and all that shit, I used to hang out with a homie that was like my neighbor, and we would just kind of freestyle, whatever, fuck around, smoke weed and shit. And he really kind of turned me on, like Yellow Wolf and a lot more of that kind of like more kind of southern country kind of rap and shit. And I was fucking with all this shit. The reason I thought about rapping to begin with was because when I first came out here, I don't know if it was an elevation change or what, but also I'm sure that and the alcoholism, like I had like severe laryngitis for almost like a year and a half. Couldn't sing for shit. So I'm like, well, maybe if I, you know, if I rap, I could do that because it's more talking, which is, you know, bullshit. I went the way I rap anyway, so.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely, you hit some gnarly vocals on your songs. Yeah, no, you're very much not just up there talking or spitting poetry for sure.
Yeah, oh, thank you. But that's what it was, right? So like I already had in my head, well, if I do any form of music, I guess I would have to rap, right? But I remember saying to the homie, like, because I went to a couple sessions for him and I cut guitar for a couple of his tracks, right? But I saw that he was getting fucked by this producer. Fuck you, by the way, you know who you are. I'm not gonna air you out like that, dog, just because I want to get shot. But you're wrong for how you live, homie. But this dude was getting charged like a fucking crazy amount to literally fucking record his vocals over a YouTube beat where none of it could be manipulated. It's basically doing we call a 2-track, right? So it's a vocal and a fucking instrumental, but it's not even dude's instrumental, so he had no rights to it really like that, and he also couldn't manipulate it.
He would have been better off just getting his own setup.
Right.
Right, especially if he's like spending bank, like that's
Right.
not fair. That's not right.
But he didn't have have like the musical, know-how to make beats and shit like that, right? So I just remember telling him, like, dude, if I ever decide to start doing this rap shit with you, or even just by myself or whatever, like, my only caveat towards that is if I do that, I have to produce my own beats. Because my first thought was like, I fucking play, I play instruments. Why would I fucking make my own music? It's like, that to me just it felt like counterintuitive.
Like I already got the tools, the knowledge.
Yeah, like I had the knowledge. I didn't have the tools, and I didn't have. I had no idea how to create music electronically, how to produce. I had no fucking clue. So anyway, fast forward to getting sober. When I met this girl, I wrote this poem for her, and it was weird what happened. Like after a good solid year and a half of my mind really being mush and not being able to really write anything that I felt was viable, it was this fucking torrent of just creative, just vomit was coming out of my head.
I love that.
Yeah, I couldn't like contain the shit, and I was like, wow, okay, this is cool. I'm like, well, I gotta channel this somehow, And she kind of she was the one who kind of put me on like Suicide Boys and Ghost Man, which led me to Puya, which led me to like Star Lord, fucking. I don't want to leave anyone out. There's so many, but Lil Peep, fucking. Breaks my heart, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound so fucking like zesty for this, but like, I shed a tear for that dude almost every day, man. Like.
He had a big impact for sure. I know Mac Miller was one that hit me pretty hard.
That's another one. That's another one.
Yeah.
And all these people. I mean, Mac was already on my radar because I was more aware of, I guess, like more kind of, I don't want to say mainstream hip hop, but like I guess for lack of a better terminology, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
But what this girl turned me on to, I just remember. When I first heard like Ghost Man and Suicide Boys in particular, those two artists, because Peep I didn't get at first. When I heard him, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I felt it was a little bit over my head, right?
Yeah.
But with the other two, it was this, just immediate, visceral fucking response in my soul. I was like, what in the fuck is this? And I have to know everything about these artists. I have to know everything about how the fuck they're making this shit, what programs they're using, like, totally all day, all about that, right?
Like 100%, yeah. Suicide Boys, Puya, like Ghost Main, fucking X, every single.
There you go, there's another one. X. Yeah.
But like, I remember I was a little skater when I got put onto them, and it was my skate friends that introduced it to me when I was at the skate parks and everything. I'd come home and I just started painting skate decks because I just needed somewhere to go where I could play the fucking music and just enjoy it, not be interrupted or bothered by people, because it was so immersive,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I fuck killer genre.
No, and I hadn't felt anything like that since I was, like a teenager, learning to play guitar and listening to like my first favorite bands and being exposed to like cool underground, new music, like within like metal and all that shit. So to have that kind of same visceral response towards rap music, Not to say that I was always kind of like almost equal parts hip hop head to metal head, right? But like even until All Is One, which was the name of the band that I was in, even in that band, like there was a couple little moments in there where I rap a little bit. You know, I was definitely more of a melodic singer / screamer in that band, but there was a couple of moments.
It was always in you somewhere.
Yeah, because like even when I was a little kid, one of the first things I tried to do on my own was to start a rap group with my brother. That failed horribly, by the way. I love you, my bro. Shout out Nene. But yeah, like, but there was just something, I don't know, like when I realized that I could do this, and then, you know, like I started, because I thought to myself, okay, I don't know people like that out here in Colorado, and the thought of trying to start another band, and not to be super crass, but like, I know, metaphorically speaking, ain't many cats out there they're gonna tickle my fucking balls the same way as I felt when I was playing music with Marco and Karthik, which were the guys in my band.
Especially performing the way you guys were for a minute there, getting the record deal. That's a hard jump, for sure.
Oh yeah, and just like being in a band is fucking hard, man. There's a lot of different personalities, egos, fucking, you know. Mine was completely out of control. You know, I can admit that now. I didn't think so at the time. I thought I was a swell guy. Nope. I'm sorry, guys, man. I'm seriously from the heart, bro. For real. Yeah, so, I don't know. The thought of that was just super daunting. And I was like, you know what? I don't even fuck with that, bro. How about I just actually do what I said when I was hanging out with my buddy Greg, which is my neighbor. And I was like, fuck it, I'll learn how to fucking produce my own beats. And so I first started trying to do it on my phone, on GarageBand. And like, needless to say, I mean, like my first fucking few beats were so trash. I mean, so trash. But, you know, I had faith in the fact that like the vision would come more into focus the more I kept doing this shit.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is like, literally like, I don't know, less than a week ago. On the 8th, made 2 years from when I started producing. And
congratulations! I remember seeing that. We were both turned up over here, like good shit.
Yeah, it was a trip. You know, I've been so immersed in it the last 2 years. You know, like I really didn't feel it go by like that. But the best way that I'm able to like, kind of, what's cool about it is like doing something where you're recording everything that you do, right? Like you have quantifiable evidence of progress.
Fuck yeah, I'm all about that. You know me, I'm throwing out dog shit as long as I'm just throwing out something, because it's either something that I can enjoy in the moment or it's something I can look back and learn from, you know? Gotta do something.
That's a good way to look at it.
But yeah, no, I fucking love the hip hop community, like, especially a lot of the, like when you're performing shit, you get off stage, it's just like, it's all love. Like, I've never come across, like, I feel like hip hop's always depicted as so hyper competitive, when in reality, I feel like it's more of a family than a lot of the genres that I've seen. Not like to shit on other genres, but in like the underground scene, like there's a lot of competition in a lot of other places, but hip hop, it's like everyone's like, we're all here trying to uplift each other, and like we can see that, you know?
Well, the barrier of entry is different. You know, like I've done bigger things as a solo artist, rapping in these 2 years than I ever did within the first 2 years of being in any band. You know,
Really?
I've opened for a couple of national acts. I opened for Chris Calico for the first year of playing shows. You know, and then this May, I opened for King ISO.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, do you ever have like moments where you can like crash out after a show? Because sometimes I get like super depressed if a show goes well or if it's a bigger turnout than I was expecting. Like, I feel like the pressure hits me after the fact, not necessarily before or during.
Well, I mean, I'm weird. I think I'm just fucked up in the head, or I'm just wired different. But like I'm not a regular man, because like I don't know. Like my connection with performing is different. I feel like for me, it's like it's almost like a sacrifice
Yeah.
like a ritual sacrifice that I'm conducting in front of an audience, and it's something I would do anyway, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically like when I get on stage, it's about sharing that honest moment of expression with whatever entities are nearby me, you know?
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I think that's so real because sometimes I feel better performing to my neighbors, like walking their dogs. Like I'll lock in and I'll just be like belting at them. They look at me like I'm crazy, but for me, I'm like that moment where I feel a little crazy or whatever. It's like it feels just as good in that moment than it ever could with any other amount of people. You know, like it's. I think that's really cool way to look about it too, because it is super sacrificial. It's extremely vulnerable. It's you're giving up a part of yourself that is. I mean, it's more intimate than going through someone's underwear drawer or like their phone. You know, it's like there's someone's music. People can like discard as background noise a lot of the time, but if you actually lock in, like you can literally know so much about a person and how they deal with life just by tapping in. You know.
I agree 100%. I mean, to that point, like I don't know, when I'm performing music, it's probably when I'm at my most honest, because you know, nothing really else in my life makes much sense. You know, like my job doesn't make sense. The fact that I'm doing that job, you know, or just working a regular job, none of that shit makes sense to me. You know, the fact that I don't have a shawty, that shit don't make sense. But I ain't tripping on it, bro. Because I'm not actively seeking one, but like, you know, I be seeing like couples like you and Maddie and shit, like, you know, like people that actually have a connection. You know, sometimes I want that. You know,
I fought him off like a motherfucker when I met him. I was I think I told you about this the other day. Any person that showed interest to me, I was like, I would just bully the fuck out of them. So I was like, there's something wrong with you. He like me 'cause I'm a piece of shit. And I kicked that guy out.
That hits, girl. That hits.
Yeah, but the people that give you the patience and stick around, like it's not something that you can seek. It's literally something you won't be able to fight off no matter how hard you try. Like, and you know, I see that. Yeah, but no, it's just kind of like, you know, when someone keeps showing care for you, it forces you to look within yourself and you go, why do I keep pushing this away? Like, I enjoy this person, I enjoy this time. You know, maybe they have their flaws and shit that we gotta deal with, but like, when they keep going, even though you're like, I would have left me.
Oh no, I totally appreciate it.
So long ago.
Yeah.
But I do foresee that happening for you, but it's one of those things where you're gonna just be, you know, trotting along doing your thing and just some little fan chick is just gonna be following you around until eventually it's just like, fuck, okay, I guess I gotta give her a shot, you know?
I mean, you know, the thing is for me too, it's like the connection with people and that's, you know, whether that's performing music or whether that's within like just interpersonal connections with people. If we're speaking like about like romantic shit, like I'm so like, of course I need to be hot for the girl, right? I need to find her attractive, but like I can't be with somebody that I don't feel like a intellectual stimulation from. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I need that.
Yeah.
And that to me is probably like one of my most favorite things, like my most favorite ways to like explore the rabbit hole with somebody I'm getting to know is to like to get to know their mind and to see how that dance of conversation works, right? And because to me all of it, like music is so interwoven in everything, every part of the fabric of who I am, that like even the way that I see relationships, you know, with people, I feel like there's a tempo and a rhythm and timing to it, you know, and you know, you can't be a selfish dance partner. And I've had to learn that shit the hard way, bro. And you know, it may seem to the outside like I'm some selfish dude because I'm a solo artist, and you know, I love the fact that I have absolute autonomy over my project. But it's different, you know. Kind of like goes back to the whole being solo versus being in a band. Like there's definite like pros and cons, right? Like the advantage to being in a band is you don't have to personally front the cost for every fucking thing yourself, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie, and you know, when you get to that place where you're like reading each other's minds when you're fucking playing, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's like some really transcendent spiritual experience that I can't fully explain, and unless you've experienced it, you know, there's no way that you'll really like be able to latch onto that. But you know, the difference between that and being solo, and you know, also doing my own weird subgenre of rap, is that like it forces me to be accountable 100% for whatever I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
I can't fucking cry victim. I can't fucking like, oh, it's because of you, this isn't working. If this shit fucking does well, awesome. If it does terrible, still on me. I can't fucking bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like it. It kind of like forces me to be a man of my word and like, you know, hold myself to a certain like level of fire, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, honestly, when you were saying like you need like that, like mental stimulation from a person, like I think just from like where I'm sitting and how I see the world, I think it's when you're an artist and you spend all this time with yourself and holding yourself accountable, and also like with your past with like substance use and drinking, whatever, like being able to look back and be accountable for that, and all of the self-diving and getting to know yourself and how much you learn about yourself through poetry and through songwriting, you have a level of emotional intelligence that if someone can't match that, it's really hard to give empathy for bad behavior if they're not willing to be self-aware. And I think that's the thing that I have a hard time finding in people, even just like in friendships or like just everyday like conversation shit, is like I can see right through when people just sit around and want to talk shit 24/7, have no outlets. For me, I don't care how many times you paint yourself as like a perfect person, or you're doing your best, or you don't know why things are going wrong. If you have nothing but shit to say about people, it's like you need a hobby, you know, you need something. And I just don't feel like a ton of people have that, unfortunately. But you're definitely in the right spot though, by being around these other creatives a lot of time. I feel like that sense of self-awareness kind of is part of the community as well.
No, very valid. I mean, my problem is like I'm so you know, I'm so socially awkward, and like I have a hard time with small talk, and I think it makes me come off sometimes as like aloof, or like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, you know, oh, fuck you guys. Like I think I'm too cool, and totally not the vibe. And I just want to like explain that, and like I can explain myself, but just, you know, if you're trying to get to know me, please know it's not you. It's definitely me. I think it's just you know, like the experiences I've gone through over time have eroded a lot of the starry-eyed sort of sweetness to my personality that used to be there more like on the surface, right? And I think a lot of it happened like living in a place like Seattle, which is very unfriendly, very unwelcoming, you know.
Really? I've never been.
Fuck, yeah, man. You know, you guys, seriously, you need to suck both sides of my dick. Like a harmonica motherfucker.
On the sake, on behalf of Seattle, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you motherfuckers are terrible, bro. Seriously. Well, not all of you. Shout out fucking Big Mike out there, bro. That's my boy. Lamb Time, that's my man. But the majority, and I wouldn't say, I'm not talking about the whole state of Washington. I'm literally just referring to like King County, or all those fucking like just, it's like a fucking cult. It was just weird, dude. And I'm not by nature a groupthink, intersectional type of person. I'm an individual, so all this fucking like, if I don't think like you and I don't vote like you and all like dress like you and all that shit, I don't play that shit, right?
Actually, I was gonna ask you a question about that, because like automatically when I first met you, like you're a very bold personality, like from the way that you dress to your music to how you carry yourself. But also I've noticed that like you don't mind being controversial. You're very authentic to yourself. And for me, I'm always like super hypersensitive about upsetting people, or like if I do something that like some bullshit that I gotta do, like, you know, putting people out of my life that are blatantly trying to hurt me, I still feel bad about that shit, and I feel like it's almost a plague on me. Like, do you feel like there's any like, what do you think is like the hardest part about being someone that is like so true to yourself in the midst of a world that wants everyone to think, behave, and cooperate the same?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. The hardest part, I guess, is just coming to terms with the fact that no matter what I do, there's always going to be a line drawn in the sand, and I have to be comfortable with that. You know what I mean? I have to be comfortable with that, and I am. You know, because I not giving a fuck is my superpower. Seriously, like I learned that kind of early on. You know, anybody that comes at me sideways on some dumb shit is like, bro, look, I think everyone is entitled to think and believe whatever the fuck they want.
I feel that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm totally with it. As long as you ain't fucking children, because if you that one of them people, you deserve to go on a motherfucking wood chipper.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, man, you're not like, you know, doing anything to kids or, you know, animals and shit like that. I don't give a fuck what you do. It doesn't affect my life, right?
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, to reverse that you know, mentality a little bit, based off of that, I expect the same respect to be given me when it comes to my beliefs and my fucking boundaries and my choices. I don't like anyone fucking trying to tread on me and telling me, oh, you know, whatever, this, that, and the third about what the fuck I'm doing. Like, if you don't like what I'm doing, don't fuck with me, bro.
It's almost like, you know, you make your plate, your beautiful plate. I'll tell you, oh, that's such a pretty looking plate. Don't you dare fucking throw your plate of food on top of what I'm trying to fucking eat.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I'll celebrate your yum, you know? But like, don't shove it down my fucking throat.
Right.
You know, that's not what I ordered, that's not what I want. You know, and maybe I'm just not in the fucking mood for that. You know, it's like, I feel like everyone's so quick to get the big scissors out. It's like, oh, you disagree with something that I'm really passionate about. I'm never gonna talk to you again. And I think it makes the world so fucking lonely, and it's unfortunate. What's kind of your view on that? Like, specifically people that are like isolating themselves because they want everyone to think how they think.
You know, I think it's terrible, bro, because like we live in this really weird time, especially in the West, where it's either left or right, or, you know, it's us or them and all this shit. And, you know, this real like sort of fractional version of what this country was meant to be. And I ain't with that shit, man. Like, this whole thing, like, either you're a Trumper or you fucking hate them, or, you know what I mean? It's like all this shit with politics and people interweaving their politics into what they're trying to do in art. Give a fuck, man. Like, if you're on some woke shit or whatever the fuck, that's your business, bro. I don't make music to fucking like inject my politics into it, right? So to me, it's just like, if I say some shit that's controversial because it's true, if it's controversial because it's fucking true, I'm gonna fucking stand on biz. I don't give a fuck. 10 toes on that motherfucker, right? Like, I don't ever go out of my way to just say shit just to offend people just for the sake of offending them.
No,
that's not my bag, right? Like,
yeah.
My shit is about, like, sometimes I'm gonna say some shit that might be a little real and uncomfortable, you know? And if that's not like the headspace you function within when it comes to listening to music, then I'm probably not the artist for you. Mm-hmm. But if you're somebody that likes to delve deeper than just some surface level shit, you know, I like taking people on that ride with me because, you know, being an individual it's not always an easy choice.
It's the hardest fucking choice.
You know what I mean?
Oh God, it's so much easier to hide behind the crowd. I wish I fucking could. I've tried for so many years to act and speak like everyone else and try to mask and behave like everyone else. And
Get along type
shit's
shit.
painful because you fucking feel yourself like wanting to implode. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, when it comes to like I said, I always try to be like hypersensitive to everyone. I'm always trying to make sure everyone's comfortable around me as much as possible. But when it comes to times where I have fucked up, I do fuck up, and I'm going to fuck up. Like, when it comes to the idea that like people will just discard you as a human being over one little thing, it freaks me the fuck out all the time. But I think I see so much importance in expression, particularly uncomfortable expression, because it doesn't matter what side you are on the discomfort. But if there's someone speaking and you're getting emotionally charged and you're having a full body reaction to it, whether it's for you or against you, it should inspire you to continue to speak what your truth is and connect with others. That's the fucking point. That's why we make art, is to make people feel. You think that you're uncomfortable by my expression, I'm fucking uncomfortable, and this is just what comes out of me. Like, you know, it's like, it's so important for people to be all the way themselves regardless of who it hurts, because say in 10 years, you look back and maybe you don't agree with your younger self, or maybe you're glad that you stood up. Either way, you won't be able to reflect if you're fucking silent, you know? You won't be able to grow if you're not speaking to people and having discussions where people can give you more information and more perspective. You lose out on everything. And if you're just cutting everyone off, like...
Or if you don't have conversations with people that if you refuse to talk to people that you disagree with, you are cutting yourself off from a whole other side of the conversation, right?
Right.
So it's like,
I might not even know what you're talking about until someone lets you in on, like, perspective is everything.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, but the thing is too, I think like, I think being raised Jehovah's Witness and going through that experience, because I got kicked out of the home when I was 14. I've been living on my own since I was 14 years old.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I wouldn't, you know, it is what it is. I wouldn't trade it. It sucked when it happened, but like I wouldn't trade it because like it's made me very resilient, you know.
I believe it.
Because you know, there was like 2 weeks out of that period where I was homeless, and then I moved in with a coworker. I had a fake, bro, it was crazy. Bro. I had a fucking job and all this shit. 14 years old. Yeah, but it was all because I wanted to be an individual, and within that framework, you cannot step outside of that belief system or your what they call disfellowship, and they cut you off from everything. All your friends, family, everyone disowned you, right? So if I could go through that shit as a child, I could give free fucks to anyone thinks about me now. Like, bro, if you ain't paying my bills, why do I give a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's fucking helping my mom stay alive, or you know what I'm saying? None of that shit. But man, I don't know. I try not to like dwell on that shit too much. For the most part, like, I don't know, bro. I just like fucking going off on stage. I love going to that place, and you know, if I get bucked sometimes and it bumps against someone's noggin the wrong way, I mean, it's not necessarily my intention, but maybe you gotta ask yourself, you know, if something someone says is bothering you that much, what's inside you, motherfucker? Because it ain't me.
No,
I ain't inside you.
I 100% agree though, because like, I don't know, like, I feel like I have a relationship with all of my negative emotions. Anger, sadness, depression, jealousy, all of those things I have matured enough to realize that when I'm jealous of someone, like, and I get all pissy and upset or whatever, it has nothing to do with that person. I can sit down and go, where's this coming from? What do I need to do? What do I want to try? Yeah. You know? But if someone says something wrong, like, I fucking hate them, it's like, maybe it's not that person. Maybe it's someone from your hometown. Maybe it's, you know, your parents. Maybe it's a system that you were raised in. Maybe it's a view that you have of the world that is holding you back. Maybe it's that within you that's being triggered by that. But that doesn't mean necessarily the trigger is wrong. It's an invitation for self-exploration. You know, it's important. Outspoken people are a necessity when it comes to art. Because if you don't,
100%.
if you're not 100% you, and you just mimic what you hear, you will never reach the people that you need. Like I said, I'm a spiritual person. I believe God uses misfits. Like the pastor that I follow is very public about the fact that he had an affair. Tell me any fucking church you go to that has a pastor that's like, yeah, I cheated on my wife. They love the misfits, the fuck ups, and the weirdos, like where we're at. And for me, like those are my people. Like, you know, the addicts, the rebels, the like transgender people, LGBT, like anyone that's been repetitive, like even neurodivergent people, like we're an autism household. Anyone that's been pushed out and told that they're limited and unable to do something, like I feel slapping some sort of like blanket term on it to say that it's okay for me to put you in this box. I don't care where you're coming from, that ain't right, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so total curveball, total shift. But someone recently was bringing up this like thing about like reincarnation to me recently, where they believed in these soul packs that would follow each other from lifetime to lifetime. And I've got like maybe 3 people in my life that I would select that I would like to follow me. But I'm almost curious if there's like a villain in that, an antagonist that sculpted a part of you so much that it helped you grow, where you're like it's almost like you're grateful for the pain, but also it's like, is this something that has followed me from lifetime to lifetime or whatever, or even just the people that love you. But if you had to pick like, say like 3 or 4 people that you would pick to follow you from lifetime to lifetime currently, who do you think it would be?
Well, I'm almost certain that my brother and I have lived multiple iterations of different lives. It's weird. Like I've been having like strange visions with him. Because I've delved a bit into witchcraft and things of that nature. And, I've been sensitive to like the supernatural type shit since I was little. And he and I, for sure, have had very strange supernatural experiences that I've not been able to achieve with other people. So I don't know if I don't know how to answer your question properly, but I guess.
There's no proper answer.
No, I'm just saying, like, just like because like there's definitely been a couple of people in my life, and I've really experienced it more recently, that I've gotten this really weird feeling where I feel like I've known these people for centuries, right? And I know this is on some weird shit. You got a little woo.
They love it.
But yeah, like I've seen myself as like, I don't know, like there's this one psychedelic experience I had that opened up this portal, and I started seeing different versions of myself. Right, like I was staring into the fucking mirror, and I started seeing like, it wasn't even just like my face that was changing, it was like the whole backdrop was showing me just like different versions of different lives I led, and it was pretty nutty. So I don't know, like I feel almost like, I feel like everyone that's within my closest nucleus are people that I keep choosing to have this life experience with. And somehow, unconsciously or not, it's like we've made some kind of soul contract with each other, and we keep showing up in these different versions of life. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I feel that too. Like, I feel like there's certain people that are familiar in like a very positive way, but I also feel like there's certain people that I'm drawn to, that I'm extremely interested in, that it's almost like a terrible familiarity though, where it's all like, I was like, I'm so intrigued by this person, but it's like, and it feels like home, but then like maybe down the road it's like, wow, like these are the same wound patterns that I've experienced with others as well. But yeah, no, I think about that sometimes, especially since someone dropped it on me recently. I've been looking at, I think, a lot of people differently, I think, lately because of it. But I guess you've experienced a lot in your life, and you definitely have to overcome a shit ton of things, and the fact you've been able to channel it into your art is incredible. And I think, I just want to let you know, as someone who was a fan before a friend, when I saw you perform the first time, just your whole character and the lyrics and everything, I knew right away that you had seen some shit and that you had a heart of gold and everything. Like, your character is so strong through your music. I felt like I knew exactly who you were because you're so transparent. But maybe for the people that aren't super lyrically inclined or patient and will break down lyrics obsessively the way that I do, what do you think is one of the main lessons or like things that you want people to pull from you or learn from you?
Okay. I mean, I would say probably one of the biggest takeaways that I hope people get from my music is to be authentic, be yourself, you know, in the face of adversity, no matter what, you know, and just, you know that, you know, you're not alone, you know. I write this music and I choose to be as vulnerable as I am because I carry a chip on my shoulder in life all the time, trying to act so fucking hard and, you know, act like nothing fucking gets to me. But, you know, when I allow my guard to drop and I write these songs and I share them with people, I do it with the hopes that, like, you know, it could help mend somebody else's broken heart, you know? Because everything, I don't cap in my rap, man. I don't fucking, like, rap about shit that's not part of my personal experience or my personal beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't rap about how I'm gonna pick my photos and fucking busting caps and all that bullshit. That's not my life. I'm not a gangster at all. So I just hope that, you know, my music can provide people with a sliver of hope, you know, that, like, if a person that was a maintenance drinker, like DTs in the morning type of drunk, like me, could get help and get back into focus with what his purpose is, you can do it too, you know. And I'm not fucking superhuman, you know. There's nothing really special about me. I'm just a dude that loves what he does and wants to share that with people, you know. And it does it not because of any other reason, but like, music is probably the thing that's keeping the noose from around my neck and the gun out of my mouth. You know, like, depression's a real fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I suffer from that pretty bad. And, you know, if my music can help other people that suffer from, you know, a similar type of ailment, that would be, you know, to me, that would be like a divine gift, you know. Because this isn't for me, man. It's not about me, it's not for me, it's for everyone, and it's bigger than me, and it has nothing really to do with me. I'm just like the vessel that delivers it, right? And I had to remind myself that, you know, I had to kind of like get right-sized and get out of my own way and stop thinking I'm so fucking, like, all this and that, man, because I don't know, I think I think a lot of addicts and alcoholics do that, but, like, it's like an overcompensating factor, like trying to over-grandize yourself because inside you feel like a piece of shit, right? And I spent years doing that. So, you know, there's definitely a message within my music, and, you know, even when it comes to, like, the more kind of heartbreak-driven sort of stuff in my music, you know, that's the other thing. I feel like, you know, there's a few at this point, you know, because of the fact that, like, music happened, you know, almost 10 years ago at this point. But it brought a lot more emotional music or content, really, in the rap genre. And I'm just kind of like carrying that torch, keeping that flame, you know, going, you know, in honor of artists like Lil Peep and Juice WRLD. Fucking rest in peace, man. Love you guys. And, you know, and then also kind of like still carrying the same torch for the metal community, just not with a guitar slung around me. And I don't know, like, the other thing that I hope, not just my music, but just the fact that I'm doing what I'm doing, will inspire people is that it does not matter, you know, what you've been through or what anyone fucking thinks. You know, stick to your guns, man. Do what you truly believe in. Do what makes you feel fulfilled and makes you feel happiest. Fuck what anyone thinks. Because if I gave a fuck what anyone thought about me, I wouldn't be doing any of this shit. I live like a fucking lunatic. I know, I'm aware of what I look like, motherfucker. I know. You know what I mean? But I don't give a shit. I've arrived at a place in my life where it really is this or nothing. You know?
I feel that for sure.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate your time and everything. If you want to let the people know where they can find you, or on the internet, or even upcoming shows and events. Yeah,
hell yeah. So you can find me on IG at TrainWreck11. That's probably my most used form of social media. I'm going to be dropping a couple really cool songs. I'm super excited. One is a ballad called Thorns. So if you like kind of more melodic, I'll let it kind of speak for itself when you hear it, but it's definitely more melodic with some harmonies and shit there. And then I got another song, and shout out Maddie back there. It's his current favorite, I believe, but it's called Fugly, and it goes pretty fucking hard.
That one goes crazy.
Yeah, so I got those songs. I should be dropping those within about a week. I'm just waiting for the masters to come back to me, and then we're gonna be playing a gig this Friday, the 15th of August, at Friskies, downtown Colorado Springs. That's 103 South Wasatch. 103 South Wasatch Avenue, downtown Colorado Springs at 8 o'clock. It's $10, 18 and up and ID. I picked everyone that's on this bill. Super excited about it because I really advocate for the culture and like the art, the artistry of the rap culture, and like it's so cool, man, to see Habitually and all these other artists, man, they're like the homies, and see like the amount of love and passion they put into what they do. It inspires me, So yeah, I'm super excited about it. But just be on the lookout for the drop, man, because I got a lot of new shit coming up. And just, I'm kind of like the Trent Reznor of rap, or like the Dr. Dre of metal or some shit. I don't fucking know. I'm weird, bro.
No, I highly recommend it. I personally am a big fan of his music, and I wouldn't have you here if I didn't believe in what you're doing. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Gang, gang.